Hi, my name is Don Bowman, and here at Agilykist there's a few things that we believe in very deeply that I thought I'd share with you. Agile, continuous, shift left, continuous integration, continuous deployment, static application scanning, dynamic application scanning, and other types of tools. And the general principle here is that you do small batch size of work, and you do it continuously. And this is through the entire life cycle, all the way from thinking to doing to running. So what does that mean? Well, historically, you would sort of envision where you'd want to be, and you would take one big jump there. We called that waterfall. And then some companies would do sort of big steps. So you do a release every year, and you get there. But what if this is a blurry target? What if this is something that, there's some uncertainty as to where we want to be? Well, if you take small batch size, you're able to correct along the way. And things don't creep in and change your business without you understanding them fairly quickly. And this could be anything. This could be security. It could be how you deploy, etc. One of the things that happened to me a few years ago that has really stuck with me, I was in a presentation, and the presentation was being done by large telecom. And large telecoms aren't particularly known for their high velocity of movement. And he was talking about a very strategic platform of theirs called OpenStack, which would be the underpinnings of everything. And he asked the audience, how often do you think we upgrade our production OpenStack? And the audience sort of shouted out, every leap year, things of that nature. And they said, actually, we do it every Friday. And the reason is, if you want to be good at upgrading, you have to do upgrading frequently. And since there's a constant set of security patches, you need to be good at upgrading. You don't want to be something, oh my God, I'm worried about doing this, but I have to do it. And also, their strategy was any software which had been committed, which had passed all the tests, went live on that Friday. And it always struck me that, that sort of continuous innovation, it got you not only where you wanted to be faster, it got you where you needed to be, which is often not the same thing. But also there's a set of velocity, because the best way to get efficiency is the art of what you're not doing, what you don't need. So when you're estimating this goal, you estimate all kinds of things that in the long run maybe you didn't need, and those were inefficient. So going back to continuous, when we started the company out, we thought about what does it mean to be continuous? And there's a whole set of things that turned out to be very interrelated that I learned. Continuous integration. This is one that a lot of companies have adopted now, and you see very good tools like Travis and Circle and so on. We use GitLab for our CI, and it's excellent. And what this means is that instead of your software release cycle being design, build, test, those are all continuously done. Your test is done on every commit. And that way, you don't have to worry about knowing which commit was the one that broke something, because it happens right away. It makes it more efficient. So how does that relate to security? Well, as I was looking at this, we learned about some other tools, static application scanning and dynamic application scanning. We use a tool called Clair for this. And what this does is every time you do a build, it statically scans your container to look for what's vulnerable. And that way you don't end up at the end of the project and realize that you're relying on something which is unreliable or insecure. You find out right away. And also, and more importantly, you don't turn off your continuous builds just because the project is finished or released. You keep doing it. And you think about that, on day 1 I write something, on day 100 I release it, day 101 something bad comes out. I don't want to switch strategies and have a different strategy on each side of this. What I want to do is I want to keep building it. I want to keep being ready to deploy it. And I want to keep scanning it to understand if something's gone bad in it. And there's other types of scanning, dynamic application scanning. It actually tries to run it, and it does sort of fuzzing testing and so on. But the key is here, if it fails on the next day, the day after, I know I can go in and fix it. And continuous deployment. So this is another one. We hinted at that when we talked about that large OpenStack system and the telecoms upgrading every Friday. If you want to be able to deliver value quickly, you have to be good at delivering value. And in order to be good at delivering value, you have to do it frequently or continuously. So continuous deployment means also you do a commit, it runs the tests, and then it goes live. So the system that we've been building, we've been doing upgrades 3, 4, 5 times per week when there's new value being delivered. And although there's been some rough edges and it's been a little bit hard to get some of the pieces sorted out, I think we're actually quite good at it now. And this has allowed us to get where we want to be or where we need to be, which we have a continuously evolving view on it, using these technologies: continuous integration, continuous security, continuous deployment, in an agile fashion. That's a big part of the strategy. So if you're in a typical enterprise software world and you're thinking about software upgrades as something you do yearly, challenge yourself. What would it mean if you were to do an upgrade on that twice a week? You would think about it differently, right? You wouldn't have a huge planning cycle and manual work and downtime, and you would actually use a different strategy. And I think you find once you've implemented that strategy, you'd be a lot faster. So instead of doing something once a year and it's a huge thing, you do it twice a week, different strategies are involved, you automate things, you get really good at it, and it means that security flaw, you can go live with a fix very, very quickly. Anyway, thanks very much. That's a little bit about my strategy. Got a different one? Want to share? Comments down below. Thank you. Bye-bye.